Okay, so I'm here in the studio today with Ruby Lilly from Essex, and she's here to talk about her new single and her career in music so far. Hello, Ruby, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me, Paul.
Absolutely fine. You're my first British interview subject on this podcast, and also my first music one of the year. So it's a real
Mm.
privilege to have you here. We will talk about your music and your new single quite a bit, but I thought it would be interesting to people who perhaps haven't heard of you yet or are not that aware of you,
Mhm.
about your background and how you got into country music. So what I really wanted to ask is, what is it that made you think of it as a career rather than just a hobby?
So a couple years after like COVID lockdown, I hadn't caught COVID throughout the whole time until about like 4 years. It was 2024, and I caught COVID that I knew of for the first time. And I ended up having long COVID, and I had a cough for about 6 months, and they had to give me like a steroid asthma pump. And that really petrified me that I wouldn't be able to sing as a career. Um, Recovered from it, everything was fine after about 6, 7 months.
Yeah,
And then I booked like my first proper gig. So that was the beginning of the year, about March. I booked my first proper gig, um, like covers gig in the November, because I was just like, right, no, I thought I might not be able to properly sing again. So this is like the cut off for me. That was like, yeah, I need to try.
I know that was a few years ago now, but that must have been terrifying. I mean, it sounds frightening listening to it.
Yeah, it quite to be honest, it made me quite anxious and emotional because I felt like something was being taken away from me. Like I don't think I really properly processed it at the time, and it wasn't until after where I was like, right now I've really got to knuckle down and try this. That I sort of like it sounds a bit dramatic maybe, but it was like, my whole life sort of thing. So the thought of that being taken away from me really petrified me. So that sort of gave me the kick up the bum sort of thing to like really try hard and work at something, at some projects and all that sort of stuff. So it just gave me more confidence as well, that the ambition that I felt and the anxiety that I felt made me feel like, right, no, this is actually real. This is a real thing that I want to focus on.
Wow, that's such a positive way to come out of that. I was listening to you there. I was thinking of a singer I know called Mila Campbell who had some breathing issues and had to have an operation and stuff.
Mm.
And she had the same kind of comments in her interviews about, the one thing you need to do as a singer is to be able to sing and breathe
Yeah.
and just do what we all normally do all day
Mm.
long without thinking about it.
Yeah.
So in fact, that gave you more of a boost by the sounds of it
Mm.
and pushed you on.
Yeah, 100%.
That's really interesting. I did not know that. So well done for turning it around
Mhm.
and setting it up as your career. I don't want to talk about our ages, but you're a little bit younger than me, aren't you? So it's quite impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, I've always been a singer and a dancer. I started professional singing lessons when I was 10 years old, mainly focusing in like musical theatre and like slow ballads, and sung a lot of Adele and and things like that. And I did singing for about 10 years, and then always done like musical theatre and stuff, and dancing. I used to do ballet and things like that. Um, so yeah, I've always gravitated towards it. Um, and I always wanted to be a singer. I just think I definitely was naive to the idea of being a singer and all the other things that come with it, all the admin side that you don't even know about until you're in it. Um, but yeah, it just sort of that feeling like I'm a bit much of a control freak. So the thought of my voice being taken away from me, or some part of what I've learned to grow and stuff, and the ranges and all that, I just felt like I just needed to get started now, because I'd rather, I wanted to start off as young as I could, because I felt like if I didn't do it now, I would just regret it when I was older.
That's exactly the right attitude, isn't it? So it might feel scary, but I think looking back, so I've always been into writing, that's my thing. It just so
Mm.
happens that now I'm writing about music. And
Hmm.
I got started with that very young, and
Mm.
maybe wish I'd given it more of a go. And now, life's got in the way, but I'm coming back to it. You can always come back to these things
Yeah,
sometimes.
you can.
So I'd
Yeah.
like to talk about some of your influences as well. I have
Hmm.
been checking out your socials, and I know you like Hayley Whitters, Ella Langley, Emily Ann
Hmm.
Roberts.
Hmm.
Probably no surprise to people that you're fans of those, but Emily Ann Roberts in particular is somebody I've followed for a while. I think her
Mm.
attitude as well as her music is
Mm.
just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've also been singing with somebody I have been following a bit too called Willow Avalon, who's been over here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you heard her duet with Lola Kirk, Maps, the version of Maps they did together?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. You're not a Lola Kirk fan? Wow. This is amazing.
Oh.
I'll set that as some homework for you afterwards.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. Let's is there one of those people that's like really got into you that you're aspiring to follow, or are they just like one of many influences? You must have hundreds of different influences actually.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely so far up the list. I discovered her actually, I think it was some point at C2C a couple years ago. I'm sure she was on the Spotlight stage. And because I think I found her on TikTok actually. She did like a song, and it was almost like pitched as if it was the other girl, if she was in the other version of Jolene, like Dolly Parton. And I remember discovering her from that video, I think. She was like singing her song that she written in the eyes of Jolene or something or other like that. And I just fell in love with her. And then I went to Stagecoach last year in California, country music festival where they have Coachella. And I was just walking around and my boyfriend had pointed out Willow Avalon and I was like, so I quite honestly, I just ran up to her and I was so starstruck that all I could seem to tell her was how obsessed with her I was. And she was so nice and she was so polite. And then my partner, Caleb, we're now engaged. He showed me,
Congratulations.
thank you. He bought me some tickets to see her at Electric Ballroom. And I was just like, oh, do I do a video and say that I've met her? Or is that a bit like, I don't know, but I just thought, oh, I'll do it anyway. And I actually recorded multiple videos to do. Some people do it like, oh, this is day one of posting this and day two of
Yes, I've
this and
seen
that. So
those.
I pre-recorded like a load of videos. And gratefully, she had seen it, the first one after 3 hours or something, because I'd got loads of my friends and family to tag her in it. And then, yeah, she just reached out, and I was just like, I couldn't sleep that night when I got a message. Because the song that I picked, like I wanted to sing with her, I sing at every one of my gigs. It's the Yodelay Hee Hoo song.
Yes, I've heard it.
Yeah. So and I sing that every single one of my gigs. It's always like a crowd pleaser because it is such a unique song.
Mhm.
And I absolutely love it. So yeah, yeah, and it just happened. It was amazing.
Those coincidences and little things, I've had quite a few of those in the year or so that I've been doing this. And to my
Mm.
surprise as well, you sound kind of surprised. And I think it just shows how country music is a community and that even the
Yeah.
people we consider to be stars, global stars,
Mm.
although they might not be as well known here, people like Casey Musgraves and so on, who are
Yeah.
very famous in America,
Yeah.
Margot Price. Whereas here, it's more of a niche thing or a slightly on the
Mm.
edge of the mainstream. But you
Yeah.
mentioned the yodeling. I have been researching yodeling and Austria and how it all got going.
Mhm.
And I've been listening to Patsy Montana this afternoon as well,
Mhm.
was one of the first female American country yodelers who really became very popular.
Mm.
And I didn't really realize how much of a thing it was, but it is a part of your show, isn't it? It's something that you really enjoy doing. And it's
Yeah.
really fun as well.
Yeah, it is so much fun. I mean, I've always been quite good at, not necessarily with accents or anything like that, but with singing, I've always been quite good at mimicking things. And I don't know, and I like a lot of different genres of music, so I've just naturally sort of learned over the years how to sing a certain way to a certain genre and things, and the technique
Mm.
behind each genre and stuff. And quite honestly, I just used to sing The Sound of Music all the time when I was younger. That was
Yeah.
like my mum's like favorite musical like shows or films, sorry. And no, I just used to sing the little yodeling song about sheep or goat
What
herds,
a
I
great
think they.
story.
Yeah, and I just sing around the house singing it, and I just wind my family up because I just would think it was really funny, um, just the flip of your voice going up and down and
Yeah.
stuff, um, and then I sort of thought about it, and then when I got really inspired by that song Yodelay Hee Hoo and all other like other songs in that kind of genre and yodeling, I was like, "Do you know what? I actually want this to be something that I do because I want to be, I've like the want to sort of be unique and stand out, and I knew that
Mhm.
I could do yodeling, so I might might as well include it as part of me.
That's so cool. I think it's coming back if it ever went away. Um, I was at Ron's Honky Tonk with some colleagues a few weeks ago, and I was messaging sort of Katrina Kane afterwards, and she does a
Mm.
little, she calls it a mini yodel in some of her
Oh,
songs, like
yeah,
a slight version of it that she's kind of like
yeah.
working up towards a full yodel. And I had no idea that it was something you had to properly practice. It's not something you can just learn in an hour, is it? You really have to.
No, it's such a weird thing because when I mean, granted, I've done singing lessons, but I I don't know, it just sort of comes out. I don't really know even where I found the technique. It just sort of happens in my
Yeah.
voice. This is so random as well, but I can't remember what year it was, maybe like 2015, 2016. And there was this viral video online about this, they called him the Yodel Kid in Walmart. And
Okay.
you might recognize the video if you Googled it. His name's Mason Ramsey, and he's like amazing singer. Like he's proper. He's got a song called "Blue Over You," and it's so like 1950s kind of feel. It's amazing. And he's standing in Walmart when he's like 7 years old, singing "Lovesick Blues," and his yodel and his accent is just so distinctive that I used to just do impressions of that of this like 7-year old yodeling. Um, I think I might dress up as him for Halloween one year because I think it would be quite funny. But yeah, so again, just
Yeah.
I guess mimicking it. I just was always quite good at mimicking it, and now I'm sort of, taking my own artistry into that and making it my own, I guess. But yeah, it is definitely coming back. I'll make it come.
Yeah, it's such a fun thing to do in a live show as well, isn't it? You know, people
Yeah,
can get involved and have a
yeah.
chuckle.
Yeah, and
Um,
people are really taken back by it as well. Like I always introduce the song and I'm say I'll do a bit of yodeling and I think it's good fun.
so let's talk a little bit about some other people that we know as well. I know you've been supporting Ray Isla, who's been on tour in the
Mhm.
UK recently, and we both know her actually.
Yeah.
So how did you find Ray, and whereabouts did you get to with Ray on her tour?
Yeah, so Madeline reached out to me that Ray was looking for someone to support a couple of shows while she was doing her UK tour. And I was just instantly like, yes. She's so lovely. So I met her I think we did yeah, it was Hey Joe's in Brentwood. That was the first gig that I did with her. And I honestly was so inspired watching her
Mm.
perform, and her singing and her songwriting is absolutely insane. Like it is so good. Honestly, I was just like besotted by her. I was like, wow, she is like such honestly. And then I supported her in Kent. Forgot the name of it now, but I supported her
Hmm.
in Kent as well, and that was really good. There was a dog there that was very in love with Ray as well while she was playing. But yeah, no, she's just such, and we're very I felt very gravitated towards her once I got to know her a bit more as well because she thinks about everything, like her image and her niche and all those things. She's a stone collector and she thought, well, how do I make this? So then she got her whole album and resonated a certain stone with each song and what that meant and in parallels to that. And I was just like, wow, this is like what I want to adhere to 100%. So yeah, I think she's amazing. She's so nice. I'm going back to LA in a few weeks, so I'm hoping to meet up with her there.
Oh, that's so exciting. I do want to talk about your music. Let's get on to that. Although you did remind me about the Stone collection, which is,
Oh,
as far as I'm aware, unique in the world of music. I don't
mm,
know. But yeah, and then that's being an indie musician as well. I think that sort of enables or encourages you to be beyond the music. You know, she's got her
yeah,
letter writing and postcards and
yeah,
stones, and
yeah.
it's all part of differentiating yourself in a crowded
Mm.
marketplace, I suppose. So let's hear about your debut single, actually.
Yeah.
What's it called? Tell everybody what it's called, please.
It's called Loving Me or Killing Me. I wrote it, so I found a studio on Instagram called 309 Sessions, the Upper 309, and I reached out to them. Quite honestly, I thought that they were British. I don't know why, but I thought they were local. And then I started messaging them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're in Memphis, Tennessee," and I was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
okay." And then I got in touch. So Devon and Jenny, they're a lovely couple in Memphis, and we just started writing together like on Zooms and things. And I pitched this idea to them that I wanted to write a song that was I always sort of have believed that love and hate are quite parallel emotions. You know, if you're so in love with someone or you love them and they do something awful to you or whatever, you a lot of the time you could just instantly hate them sort of thing because you just have that anger or that rage. And I just felt like they were very parallel emotions. And I really wanted to play with the idea of people, you know, there's like acts of service in relationships or people like people's love languages, and some people have acts of service where, you know, them making you a coffee in the morning is like, oh, that's so kind. um but I feel I always sort of imagined in my head, if you like in a bit of a toxic on and off relationship, you know, they're giving you this coffee but the coffee has got like poison in it or something because they're so on and off, they're so
Hmm.
sporadic with the way that they live and their emotions are high and low, and you never know where you're at sort of thing. So that's kind of what I wanted to play into with this song. And then it sort of just ended up being the debut. Like I just felt like it was a good opener. It's very big on like storytelling, which I love to do, and Devon and Jenny are amazing. They've Devon's produced it all. We've done like a whole cross Atlantic production, like sessions and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, no, it's just been a bit of a whirlwind for a debut, but it's been so worth it.
Well, I've heard some of it through the reels and so on that you've been putting out.
Mm.
You're well into the promotion cycle for it now, and I have pre-saved it by the way as well. So I'm one of your pre-saves.
Yeah.
Um, so that's such a dramatic story. I suppose you know any song is a bit more dramatic than real life usually because you want it to be memorable and evocative. But yeah, it's such an interesting idea, isn't it? That relationships can be like that. All kinds of relationships, actually, whether it's colleagues
Yeah.
or friends, relatives,
Yeah.
and partners as well. Interestingly, though, it's only your debut single, but you've been going for quite a few years, haven't you? So you've been playing live everywhere. You're a prominent musician in the country scene here now. You play a lot. Do you play sort of several times a week?
No, I think it depends really because
Mm.
sometimes you'll just get it sort of just happens where you just say you get these gigs and they all sort of domino from each other. But no, I'm trying to quite honestly keep the momentum going, you know, you've got to put yourself out there. And yeah, so
Mm.
I've only done a couple of shows this year so far, but I did like my first tour I wanted to do before coming out with the release. It was called Loving Me Tour, and I just wanted that to be like, right, she's here, she's showed up, buckle your seatbelts because she'll come out with a song soon. You know, I just
Yeah.
wanted to keep the momentum going. And that worked out really well, actually. So, yeah, but my first proper gig was actually last July. Before that, I only did cover, well, don't say only, but I did cover performances. And I was just like Ruby. But now Lily is my middle name, but now I'm Ruby Lily. I'm the artist. So yeah, my first proper gig was last July.
That's amazing. You've come such a long way in such a short time. So what's this week looking like? Are you and how are you feeling about the release of your first single? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I am. It is so surreal because I think even just the past like 8, 9 months, I've just been really trying hard to hustle, and it's 100% getting me somewhere. The sky's the limit, but it is. I had a thought with myself the other day, and I actually wrote down on my phone that even as as big as it's gonna get one day, um, being just at the beginning and already I'm like, wow, I'm actually doing singing. Like I always wanted to do singing and now I'm actually doing gigs and I'm actually singing and I'm actually coming out with a song, which is just actually mind-boggling. So yeah, I'm feeling very proud of myself actually because I always struggled with confidence when I was a child. I was always very anxious child and I didn't I wasn't very good at school, like academics, I was rubbish. But I always wanted to do singing, so now that that's actually happening, it's really yeah, I'm very proud of myself, and I've got good people around me, so
You have indeed. I know one or two of those people, and you should be proud. It's a thing to have achieved at such a young age, and
yeah.
like you say, you've already sung with Willow Avalon already. You've met a hero, you know. It's a good start, isn't it? It's a good start. So if people are listening to this on release day, I believe you have some kind of event on Saturday the 18th, which should be
Yes.
tomorrow. Do you want to tell people about that?
Yeah, so that will be I'll be at Battlesbridge, at the Antique Centre, in Essex, and we're going to be. So I've collaborated with a trucker hat experience. They're called Never Ending Chain. They started out doing like permanent jewelry, and then they sort of transitioned into doing trucker hats. And I love a trucker hat. That's like my little thing. I love wearing a little hat. Don't ask what the hair looks like underneath. You don't want to know. But this never ending chain, you can get a trucker cap and then you can customize little patches and they sort of iron it on or some sort of press. I don't know how it works, but it just,
Okay,
so yeah, so I have designed a little patch, which is an exclusive. There's not that
right.
many, so you've definitely got to come along to grab one. And I've also picked out a few patches that I felt were relevant, or represented loving me or killing me, red, hearts, wine, all that jazz. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun. So we're going to do that. It's at 12 p.m. Battlesbridge and Antique Centre. And then I'm going to be doing a little small performance. I'll be singing the song Loving Me or Killing Me. And then you will be catching me at the pub opposite.
Well, have a great time with all the hats as well. That's such a great idea, isn't it? Having the custom hats.
Well,
Yeah.
because, the theory is, right? It's like your own merch.
It's like I was going to say I didn't want to embarrass myself, but it's like Build-A-Bear, but for trucker hats.
Literally, it
Yeah,
literally is, but it is
yeah.
literally like it is like your own merch, and especially as a singer, it's the first time they've collaborated with a singer before, an artist.
Wow.
Um, and the patch is,
Amazing.
do you know what I'm saying? So it's my own merch, technically.
It's brilliant. What a great idea. That sounds like a really fun afternoon. And you're wearing a hat right now for the purposes of the
Yes,
recording as well, which says
yes.
Stetson on it, even though it's a cat. That's very confusing, but never mind.
Yeah, yeah, no, love sets and trucker caps, yeah. I've actually I did post on my Instagram story the other day, so I've got this wired like mannequin that you would it is decoration. It's like a wired mannequin with like little metal roses on it. And it's all just pinned with all my trucker caps.
Wow. So I have to ask you, as several of the country stars I know have trucks. Do you have a truck to drive with your trucker cat?
I do in spirit.
It's
I
an
don't.
ambition for the future, is it?
Yeah, I mean, my dad used to have one. My brothers had them.
Uh-huh.
Love truck, but love a truck. But no, I have one in spirit. So one day I'll have my own one.
One day it would stand out a little bit on the high street, I suppose, here, whereas in Nashville they blend in more, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I would like. I feel like I'd like a sage mint green one with cream leather inside. That's what I'm thinking.
That does sound like something to aim for. It sounds fabulous.
100%.
So after this week's out and you have a long sleep, what's on the menu for the rest of the year for you? Do you know yet what's happening?
I've definitely got a lot more projects in the pipeline. I've definitely got a story to tell. There's a lot of vision boards.
Uh-huh.
So I'd just say you can just expect a lot more music, a lot more seeing me around a lot more. And yeah, it is literally only just the beginning. So who knows where we're going to be in a year's time.
Oh, I'm excited to see, and I'm sure lots of your fans are. So, where can people listen to the song? Obviously, on the streaming services.
So the song will be on like Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and YouTube. But yeah, I will definitely be looking into where else I can put the song out. And as soon as I've got those, they'll all be linked in my bio, like on my link tree.
So, there'll be plenty of activity on our channels over the weekend as well. Have you got anything else to say to your fans before we finish, Ruby?
I think I just want to like say thank you to everyone that has been supporting me. I know I'm still very new and very young, and it's something that I'm really focused on and that I want to work towards. There's so much more to come that
Mm.
I just can't wait for everyone to see it and for it to become bigger and better. And I keep reminding myself it's only the beginning because I am a perfectionist. But it is extremely exciting. So I just can't wait for everyone to hear Loving Me or Killing Me, and I hope they like it.
Oh, they will. I love it already, and your enthusiasm just shines through on this discussion. It's very obvious, and it's really nice to find somebody who's right at the beginning because normally
Yeah.
by the time I hear of them, or maybe you hear of them, the American artists, they've sort of done an album or they've been around
Mm.
for a year or two, but you really are right at the beginning, aren't you? And although you've
Yeah.
been learning and practicing for 10 years or so, so it
Yeah.
does show through. It's a brilliant song, and we are so happy and pleased that you found the time to talk to us here.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Paul.